they say all men are created equal. Shot! Master! I'll pull out the Glock! Full of suffering, succotash, son!
It's one of your nuts hanging out of your shorts.
Real glass!
You have a father, but your father's dead.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Too Sweet podcast with Lucy and Estelle, and welcome to 2025. This is our first video of the new year, and Dynamite aired on New Year's Day, which was yesterday or last night, whatever. We're back with a Dynamite review of Fight for the Fallen sort of special, I guess. Kicking off the new year in. We'll see when we get into it if this was a good way or a bad way. I don't know. I got a feeling this might be quite mixed.
Really? I feel like I already know what my rating is by the end of it, but I agree there was like some things. There was like two things where I was just like, I don't know about that, but we'll get into it. But yeah, I thought it was a really fun show, to be fair. Won me round on some things, didn't end up hitting rated FTR as much as I thought I would, but maybe that's just because they were in Asheville. I'm not too sure, but yeah, let's delve on right into it. So it began with the first of many promos, which was my first like gripe about it, which we'll get to in the middle, where it was just like, I'm here to watch wrestling. I don't want to watch video packages of wrestling from previous weeks.
Yep.
I love video packages. I love promos. I think they're a great tool, but I think they were really overused in this show.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I thought as well. There was a lot of, well, I don't want to say filler, but you know what I mean. A lot of filler, not much killer.
They could have had another match in it if they wanted to. There was enough time.
Yeah, there was enough time spent on talking that could definitely have been used for another match. So yeah, I mean, yeah, used right, it's a good tool for storytelling and stuff. And I didn't hate any of them individually. Just altogether, there was quite a lot of it.
Yeah, and a lot of them weren't really favouring it. It was just like, I've got a match tonight, I'm ready to fight, or here's me reminding you of my motives and outlines as a character. They weren't, and so because a lot of it was, as you say, just filler. It was just, but yeah. This initial promo was from Mox. It's from World's End with the Death Riders post-match. Having said that, I do really enjoy the way that they've been showing the post match promos from the pay-per-views. They did it the month before, and with Full Gear. I really like seeing the fallout, and it's more heated that way because they've just come out of the match, all the adrenaline. I do think that it's great doing it that way, and I really liked when he said Marina Shafir, this woman took a bullet tonight, which I thought was a really good way to spin it, because you could look at that and be like, oh, she looked weak because she took a Blade Runner, and oh, she got beaten up by a man. But I thought that was, I don't know, that stuck out to me in that promo.
Me too.
I really liked that line.
Yeah, me too. And then he turned it into, well, what would you take a bullet for? Have you ever taken a bullet for anything? And then he was like, I've taken bullet after bullet for this company. I've been here through the pandemic. I was champion through the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I thought that was a really nice way of spinning an angle on that.
Yeah, and then we got the response from Copeland, who's now just going by Cope, which it's just so random. I don't really care. Like, it doesn't really bother me that much, but a lot of people online have a lot of heat towards Cope. They're not happy with it.
Yeah, I'm not keen on it. I mean, I'm not going to lose sleep over it, whatever. I mean, it rolls off the tongue easier. It's one syllable, like edge one. I guess that's fine, but from a marketing standpoint, it's a bit weird that you'd start off with the full name and then shorten it. It's just a bit strange to do that 360 on it, but I'm not keen. I'm not keen, but I don't. Yeah, like you say, not that arsed.
Yeah. And he just was responding saying that he's sicker than Mox, so I guess we'll see about that one. And then we had the first match of the night, which I really enjoyed. It was Orange Cassidy versus Hangman, and this is almost just like a continuation. A lot of things were of things that happened coming off the back of World's End, like later on in the night we had the Utah Jay White stuff, and it's picking up off the tensions of that main event. So that was cool. This is really fast paced, and I really enjoyed it. And I always have have a gratitude moment of like, oh, it's great to just see these two stars in their prime. Like these
Yes,
fucking legends. These are two future Hall of Famers in their prime wrestling together. Like, oh, so cool.
that is so true. Yeah, and I thought as well, what a great way to kick off 2025 in AEW. Like, symbolically, this is the first match of the year. Sort of starters you mean to go on, these two AEW originals, two of the best on the roster, just showcasing some really, really good wrestling. And like you say, it was fast paced, especially the start, and they were like threatening their finishers right from the get go. It was intense. There was storytelling in it. It was just really, really nice way to set the tone.
Yeah, they used every part of the ring and its perimeter. We had the two
Yeah.
uh, spots on the mat and then on the ramp, respectively. Um, just really good fun. I just really enjoyed it. It was just good fun. And I thought this, and then the match, the six man later on, I wasn't even bothered about like the spots or like writing them down or think. I was just really immersed, is what I would say. Like, I
Enjoying
was just so
yourself.
immersed and just yeah, I was just enjoying myself. I was thinking less and feeling more, and I was just
Yeah.
having a good old time. But the finish was the three orange punches. He was going for the fourth, but this just primed Hangman for the buckshot lariat. So
Yeah. What did you think about that? Because he's sort of, I mean, that's
I
meant to
did
be
think,
his finisher, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, did think about dwell on that because in the past, though, with the orange punch, it seems to take him more than one to bring people down,
Mm,
like in retrospective matches. But then it's really stark to see someone hit their finisher three times and then someone just hit theirs once and they're
yeah.
down. So seeing it in that respect, it was like a bit jarring, but
Mm,
okay, like I'm not gonna lose sleep over it, but
yeah.
okay. Like, right.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of the same with like the Superman punch that Roman Reigns does. It's not a very protected move. It's it's always confused me because it's like, why is a one punch more strong than another punch? I don't know. It's
Because you
always been a
jump.
bit of a silly move to me. Yeah, the jump. You get all the power on that jump. But
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. It's fine. Yeah, I thought. I mean, we've said it so many times on this podcast, but Hangman nailing the crazed look, and also not just the look, but the way he conducts himself in the ring, um, and he was like using, like you said, they were using it, like going all around the ring. He was using his environment to cause damage and stuff. So yeah, and
Yeah,
then
it was
afterwards
good
he was
stuff.
still being violent with the two dead eyes as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Christopher Daniels coming out and getting attacked, even though he's not an EVP, but they were kind of playing it off like on comms. They explained it like, oh, but he's still an official. And obviously they have a lot of history with BTE and all of that. So yeah, I just effective, fun match. Did what it needed to do.
Yeah, a thing that a little thing that I picked up on, which I thought was interesting, was when Christopher Daniels came out and told him to stop, and he was saying he's not the enemy. He was shouting at him, Orange Cassidy, he's not the enemy, he's not the enemy, and then he got attacked for that. So it's sort of, Hangman's he's irrational. He's not. He's just attacking him because that's where his anger is directing him right now. And Christopher Daniels is like, no, we need to be
Yeah.
focused. We need to come together and attack the enemy. This is not the enemy. It's still that thing of they need to form a united team if they want to defeat Mob.
It's like those power dynamics, and it's reminded me a lot because I recently finished Squid Games, and then obviously been watching people's like reviews, and just how in that, especially in the second season, it's all about the division of people, and rather than being unified and going against the higher enemy, attacking one another. So it's like similar to that in like society, um, in general. There is a them versus us mentality, but we're divided.
Yeah.
So yeah, just that little cheeky classism motif in there,
Mm.
but yeah, it's like will they overcome that? I don't know. It's so difficult to see how they're gonna overcome the Death Riders. Like as a fan, it's interesting watching it as part of the audience because I have theories and stuff, and like I think like yeah they will unify at the end of the day, or somehow it's going to be overtaken, but the path ahead isn't so clear as to how they're gonna do it.
Especially
So
not
that's
after
really
this
interesting
show.
to me.
especially not after this Dynamite with so many people entering the title scene, which we'll get into. It's
Yeah,
definitely not clear now the path at all.
yeah. So then we had the acclaimed. Oh, sorry. Before that, we had Jay White expressing his gripes on Wheeler Yuta and
Yeah,
again talking about the freeway.
yeah,
Then
because
we
he
had the
cost him the
acclaimed.
match.
Yep, the acclaimed come out who had a little promo again, a video package before. Caster starts rapping, but Bowens uh, asked did he intentionally hit him with the belt on Rampage, which again I understand that like they were closing out Rampage final one last week, I think it was, on the week before, but it kind of highlights the depth of the importance of this feud, and
Mm,
I'm just like I don't know if you're not going to put it all on the main show. It's difficult for me to. I know that like certain plot points have to go on like your other shows, but if I'm not being shown every detail of it on Wednesday night, it's just I don't know, it just makes it seem like throwaway because for a while
yeah,
I was like, oh, are we just done with this? And then like you'll see a clip from Rampage or whatever, and you're like, oh, okay. I don't know if that makes any sense.
it does. It 100% makes sense. I think, well, Rampage is no more, so we don't have to
Yeah.
worry about that not anymore. But and I think Collision is rising in stock and importance. But still, nonetheless, this is obviously the flagship show. And if you're gonna put them on this show, we need to. It needs to be clear to us what the story is. You can't expect everyone to watch all the programming.
Yeah, it's like they did clear it all up and clarify it all here, but I,
It's
I
just
don't know how to describe
the
it. I don't know how to
importance.
describe it.
It feels like
Yeah, it's the
you don't need to care.
importance.
Yeah. It's like, why should I care?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And this was against Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Essentially, this was just a squash match.
Mm,
Lashley instantly going for the advantage in the match due to the initial discord that they both had between themselves. I loved the commentary asking MVP why Caster wasn't accepted. He says he wasn't fast enough to reply,
yeah.
but then says Lashley and Shelton don't want him, which just cracked me up. The whole match just cracked me up. They just absolutely mauled Caster, and we concluded with the Hurt Lock. And Bowens doesn't interfere, and he's just seething on the outside, calling him a selfish asshole, and says he got everything he deserved. So yeah, I mean that's where we're at
Not a very
with
subtle,
this this hot this hot angle, guys.
so hot. Oh yes, this is red hot. It's like they sort of broke up, but they're still teaming, so there's not much tension. Like, oh, is he gonna attack him? It's like,
Yeah,
well,
I think if they'd have done it rather like a shock turn, like boom, like out of the gate, like and maybe that being Caster attacking Bowens, joining the Hurt Syndicate, then them kicking out because they don't like him,
mm,
and doing it that way. I think that would have made it hotter, but dragging it out and like having the discord and having the drama, it just, especially now we know that Caster isn't going to join the Hurt Syndicate as well. So
yes,
it's like, why should I care? Because it feels like, yeah, they're breaking up, but they're breaking up into no man's land, and we've discussed this
yeah,
before. Like they're just going into the void. It's just,
it's very
especially
slow
when you don't really
paced.
care about the team anyway in general. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, exactly. You can see the disdain is already there. So it's yeah, like you said, it's not like we can build up to a shock or anything, but yeah, I'm just not really not interested.
yeah, but it wasn't bad though. Like the actual match, and it
Yes.
explained what it needed to explain, and it wasn't like the worst thing.
Yeah, it was
It
fun to
wasn't the
see
worst
him
thing
get
ever.
beat up by the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, yeah, and like at least they're listening to fans, and the fans have been saying for a while they want to see Bones get a single run. So even though like we have our nitpicky bits with it overall, like I'm happy that they are going in that direction. And later on, they did another thing which I think showed that they were listening to the fans. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah. Then Swerve and Nano were asked about the freeway. They gave their 2 cents on it. We had a little bit about the donation. I've forgotten the charity name, but to the hurricane relief, because obviously Hurricane Helene was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Yeah. Sorry if I'm a bit slow. I'm a bit ill, so like my brain's just like it's going at like zero point 0.5 speed.
Nah, you're doing great.
Thanks. We had the Undisputed Kingdom interviewed, which this is not listening to what the fans want because this was just like we're all best friends and we're all gonna
Love
have
each
each
other,
other's
baby.
backs and
Mm.
oh my, give it a rest.
BFFLs.
Yeah. Then we had Hater versus Julia Hart, and this was the other thing where I was just like this and the promo, like the constant barrage of video packages were my two things where I was just like, huh? Like nothing in this I hated. Like it might seem like it, like I was really down on the Acclaim match because I don't like Max Caster, but not even these two things I didn't hate. It was more just like a, okay, this is
Okay.
weird. Yeah, so what I don't get about this is you've got two recent returns.
Yep.
And why are you putting them against each other and
Mm.
having one go over so brutally over the other? It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why have you chosen one return to have more stock than the other? Surely, if you've got these two hot people who are coming back after being out in action and people are clamoring to see them wrestle,
Yeah.
why do you almost want to squash one? Why would you not interject him into feuds with women on the roster who've had like nothing to do? Why put them
Yeah.
together?
Together.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Um, I think they tried to explain it on commentary. It was like, oh, Julia Hart, she's going after a former champ. She's stating her claim. It's like, yeah, okay, okay, fine. And I think with the ending going the way that it did, skipping ahead a little bit here, but
Yeah.
Julia Hart like brought that arrow into the ring, which she was doing in all these vignettes. That was just a ploy to distract the referee so she could spit in Jamie's face and get the win. To me, I think that feels like they can have a rematch because Jamie's like, you didn't beat me fairly. I deserve a rematch. And I'm not, it was a bit of a clunky ending. It didn't fully work. It was just a bit awkward and weird. But yeah, I agree with your point that it would have been nice if they could go do different things with the women's roster's got a lot of people on it. You don't have anything to do, so why not have separate feuds? Yeah, putting the two hot returns back together is certainly a choice.
Yeah, and just in general, like Hater's character since coming back has just not worked for me. Like I think it's time to just say it that like the new character just doesn't it just it's not like that it's terrible or I think as I said before, if that's an aesthetic that she feels comfortable in and beautiful in and confident in, I'm all for it, but I just think like it's a half-baked character and it just doesn't make sense and it hasn't been explained to us. The
Yeah,
presentation aesthetically has changed, but it hasn't in terms of theme, in terms of like what is this gimmick? Like
yeah,
you've got a 70s. It just doesn't
I
make sense to me. I
yeah,
just need more formation.
I don't know what the character is. If you asked me to explain the character, I wouldn't be able to. I don't know
Yeah.
what the gimmick is supposed to be.
Yeah. Exactly. And I didn't like the ending, like you say, it was quite clunky. The match in general, it was very slow paced and
Yeah,
it was quite long, which is nice to see it get some time. But at the same time, the crowd was really quiet.
yeah,
Um, they didn't really know what to make of it. I don't think, as I said, it was slow paced, and I didn't like the ending. I thought it was clunky, and I'm just not a fan of Mist. Like Mist is like one of my big wrestling icks. Like I don't like the spooky shit that much, and I
yeah.
especially don't like Mist. I just think it's bloody daft.
It is daft. It is very daft. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. It's
Yeah, but I don't know. It just didn't land for me this match.
yeah, I feel like the match itself, it wasn't bad especially considering it's Julia's first back after injury and Jimmy's not long been returned either. But yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah, again, that's like a tall feat in it. That's part of it. Is like if you were putting two returning people together, I know haters had a few matches under a belt, but He basically putting together two people have ring rust. Like who? Like you should
Yeah,
be putting them in with other people that can protect him. Surely that would make more sense than another
yeah,
reason as to why
100%.
you putting two returns together. But
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Then we got like what would you call it? Oh, what do you call it when you go to the cinema and you see the ads, but it's not. It's got another name for it.
Trailer.
Not trailer. There's another word for it.
Um, like like with a for a movie.
Yeah, but there's another word for it. Anyway, that joke ain't gonna land now. But whatever that is, it was like that, and just a bunch of shit. So we had the Osprey Fletcher feud vignette, which is really an underrated feud from the previous year, and I'm hoping that this year they can, because as I said in the vignette, it's 1-1. So I'm really hoping that this year they
Yeah,
they can win feud of the year, because I really think that they could, because they were really cooking and they were
yeah.
overshadowed by the previous feuds that year, Mariah, Tony Storm, um,
Swear.
Hangman's Swerve,
Yeah,
yeah, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Cody and the Bloodline, all that. But I think this year could really be the ones. I hope.
yeah.
I hope. Yeah. And then we showed Okada winning the Continental Classic and Kenny's return. Then we heard from Okada, um, and yeah, just a lot of video packages close together. Then Monet came out and also played a video package
Yeah.
of herself and talks about her match at Wrestle Dynasty against Mina Shirakawa. So this bit was really just like however long it was, 10 minutes of just I
I
don't
know that
know.
this isn't the
I
word
don't know
that
if yeah.
you're looking for, but what you were trying to say before, I mean, piss break, because
Yeah, piss
it's a lot
break.
of
It's almost like someone called in sick and had a sick day and they were like, "Oh fuck, we need
yeah,
get
we need
some
to fill
videos
this in.
out from the vaults."
I thought it was so is Kenny going to be on Dynamite next week? It said, didn't it? I believe, and then it Okada was talking about Kenny, and then as that sort of faded out, it faded into the All In logo. So it's kind of subliminally, is that what we're going to have at All In, Kenny versus Okada?
Oh, that's
And
quite a way away though, isn't it?
it is, yeah, it's a very long way.
It's like June, July. I know it's a bit earlier than what it is in the UK, but
Yeah, it's not
it's a long
soon.
time.
And then also the Mercedes video package included very short clips of the Britt Baker match at All In, but didn't ever mention Britt's name, and you didn't see her face at all in it. I don't know, just a little observation.
Yeah, I thank you for those observations because, like I say, I'm not fully switched on. I liked the way that in that video package as well, it had all the acclaim from the various dirt sheets and
Yeah,
wrestling newsletters. I thought that was a nice little touch to add a bit of acclaim.
yeah, I thought that was nice. I think that's why it stood out to me that Britt Baker was so glossed over because there was quite a lot of detail and yeah, like say like acclaim for the other matches, whereas that one was very much moving swiftly on. That was the thing that
Yeah,
happened.
Britt Baker and Adam Cole, man. Ever since they broke up, like, what's going on?
Stronger
What's going
together.
on, man? They were bring back the power couple. Um,
Speaking
yeah.
of
So now we're getting
which,
on to this freeway casino. I don't. Can someone explain to me? So as I say, I'm so sorry. I'm not. What is a freeway casino gauntlet? What? Because to me, this was just a freeway. So
oh,
what are they on
so
about?
they were fighting for a spot, the number one spot in the Casino Gauntlet, which is either next week or the week after.
God, I'm just so out of it. I don't, I
You
was like,
know,
is this like a stip or something? Like, what's going
oh no,
on?
it's valid because I did feel like this episode was a bit of an info dump. It was sort of like
Yeah.
we're having this in 2 weeks, and so we're doing these matches to set up for that in 2 weeks. But this is the first anyone's ever heard of it, and for a long
Yeah.
time I didn't know what like the stakes of this Casino Gauntlet was. I don't. Is that me not paying attention? I'm not sure. Um, but
We are girlies with low concentration and we just need things just spell out
need it
sometimes.
to be really,
Don't make
really
me work
clear.
for everything.
What's? Oh yeah, yeah. Maximum Carnage. So that's when this
Yeah, Maximum
casino.
Carnage. That managed to go through to me, Maximum
Yeah,
Carnage. But I
so
didn't know
that's
the casinos on the
yeah,
freaking
so that's in
gauntlet.
2 weeks. That's when that casino gauntlet. Oh wait, no. Yes. No, the gauntlet is next week. The winner of
Okay.
that gets a title shot at Maximum Carnage, which is the week after.
Usually I just know what's going on based on like fucking social media graphics, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
like that's when it fully sinks in. But
Yeah, this was a little bit
okay,
confusing and just a little bit like, here's everything all at once, figure this out. And I was like, a
yeah.
bit lost.
Yeah. Um, so this was a really nice freeway. I liked this because there was no clear alliances often in freeways or fourways. There's like one heel and the good guys go for them and work together. But I like this because it was just carnage and it was just everyone going for everyone. But
That's so
Swerve was able to maintain the advantage throughout the entire match, which was nice.
that's so true. I never even thought of this match in terms of like heels and faces. It was just kind of like dudes being dudes, and I liked it for that reason. I didn't even think about
Yeah.
who should I be booing, who should I be cheering. It was just these three people with the stake for a championship opportunity.
It wasn't just booing and cheering, it was like the wrestling style of these freeways
Yeah,
where two go on one is what I mean, and then
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's quite formulaic. I mean, how often do you get it where they all just go for each other? You don't really get that often, do you, Sal?
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Um, this was again just a lot of fun. Didn't write a lot down because I was just immersed. I was just enjoying it. That driving pump kick, uh, with the walk on the barricade that Swerve
Yeah,
did
that was
was
awesome.
very great. But then that led to Ricochet attacking Swerve from the crowd with the scissors, which again, commentary were like, "Oh my god, it's the Casino Gauntlet scissors," and I was like, "What is this? What?
Yeah, I say I don't know if we've missed something. Obviously, I don't know what the fuck they were talking about.
What? What are you on about?" I was so confused. And again, I'm trying to work out what the hell this match is, but yeah, he attacked him with some scissors. And then this enabled Jay White to deliver the Blade Runner on Roddy. Um, so he won, and I wrote, this is really a best case scenario. I really like the way this match was put together because then we had the beatdown, which we'll talk about in a second. But I think to me, it was the best case. Jay White got to win. He didn't get pinned.
Yeah,
Swerve still looks hella strong, and now he's got
yeah.
this hot feud with Ricochet. Roddy's just been swept on off. I was like, this is great. This is great.
It's all we could have hoped for and more. Yeah, yeah, same. My only observation was why didn't Ricochet? I swear, with these scissors, Ricochet had them. I've got a pair of scissors right here. He at- he attacked him like this. So then why didn't you use the
Really?
sharp end, you dumbass? That's what it looked like at first. I know that afterwards he was using the sharp end, but at
Yeah,
first
when he'd already been cut open.
it looked like this. I don't know. But yeah,
The
for
physics of scissors.
yeah, scissors, weapon of choice. Just it's basically a knife. Anyway, I think the fact that me and you we are very active viewers, and the fact that we were a little bit confused by some things on this show, I think that demonstrates like what's the relevance of the scissors? Does anyone know? Scissors law.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments, please.
Let's drop the scissor law. Drop the scissor law. Yeah, so Ricochet comes in and then he digs the blade into the wound of Swerve. Great
Oh.
visual. Love again, I'm such a hoe for like visuals and just him
Hmm.
being in the suit, American Psycho style, just
Yeah,
stabbing him,
very
the blood
disgusting.
splashing on this suit. It was a great visual and great to see Swerve being on the end of a violent attack because
Yeah.
normally it's Swerve conducting this level of violence. I know when he's with Hangman, it's a bit different. He meets his match there,
Mhm.
but with Hangman, again, it wasn't like this. This was a calculated match. Ricochet's a bit more reserved and a bit more calculated, it seems, whereas Hangman's just gonna come out like he wouldn't have waited he wouldn't have waited in the crowd stabilizers. He would have been in there instantly,
Yeah, that's
so
so true.
that's like the difference. With that, yeah, it really elevated the feud as well because last week I enjoyed it with World's End, the whole toilet paper thing, but it was quite
Yeah,
goofy and
it was
comical, and
goofy.
this kind of took it to the next level, didn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of as if Ricochet's that's I don't know, just completely fucked him over. Like he couldn't see the funny side of that at all. He was totally humiliated and he snapped. I still, that I just fear that people are going to turn around and be like, see, Ricochet's not a bad person. Look at this. He is a good heel. You got worked. Like, it doesn't
It's
make it
not.
okay. That Andrew Tate's done.
No,
It doesn't make
the
that
ends
okay.
doesn't justify the means, like, and that's not something that like I'll ever erase. Like, yeah,
Mm.
we're here to talk objectively about the wrestling on the
Yeah.
podcast, so like we will say if something is objectively
Right.
entertaining or objectively good, but he didn't need to do like the whole Andrew Tate thing on the side, whether that was intentional for the character or not, and those
Yeah.
two things are totally separate and they're not related, and it just, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's more nuanced than
Oh my
Ricochet.
God, wrestling has nuance. No, what will people
Who
do?
who would have thought,
Oh
eh?
no, everything's black and white. People are either good or bad. Fuck. Yeah.
It's
Then we
just
had the chair shot. Yeah, sorry,
sorry,
go.
I don't want to keep on talking about this, but I do just
Please.
want to address someone in the comment section on our last video was like, well, I just want to say you should let Ricochet cook because who knows what he's going to do from now. And I'm just like, right, I've got an open mind, and like you just said, objectively, if something's good, we'll say yes, this was good. But that doesn't mean that he's immune from criticism for doing stupid things. You
Yeah,
know?
that
I
have real world effects, and when it's your
exactly.
reality as well, like it shouldn't just be people who give a fuck about it because they're that gender, or whether it's other social issues, race, sexuality, whatever. You should just give a fuck as a human being, like, but like especially when it's your reality and your life and the lives of like the women around you, then like it's just not. Like he didn't see the funny side of it last week. I see the funny side of it on Twitter. So, I'll come
Yeah,
pull it with my own scissors. How about that? But yeah, this is brutal. We had the chair shot to Prince Nana,
yeah,
which, this actually did make me gasp. Like the scissor thing was kind
yeah.
of like brutal, but like when he attacked Prince Nana, I was like, oh, like
I took that
that was serious.
personally.
Sticks were, yeah, and I took that personally, exactly. And then Swerve was set up on the chair in the ring, and we had the spirit gun, and he was just left a bloody, crumpled, crumpled mess. And then the Undisputed Kingdom come out, and Ricochet laughs like an anime villain.
Yeah,
He's Kobe Bryant with it, y'all. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't understand why Undisputed Kingdom are coming out, because I understand that like they're friends with Roddy, but like it's JoJo too little, too late. You've
yeah,
you've come
yeah,
out like Swerve. You don't even have any alliance with Swerve. Like I didn't really understand that bit, but whatever. But it was a really cool match. I enjoyed obviously the winner, and I enjoyed the beatdown element, and I am excited for the Ricochet Swerve feud in and of itself, and objectively, like in the entity that it is in within the
mm,
wrestling sphere.
yeah,
If that makes
yeah. That just makes sense. Yeah, completely agree. There's not really anything for me to add, I don't think.
Yeah, so then we had Team TNA backstage. Jay Lethal saying that he can't reach Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff Jarrett comes in, he's emotional. He's really like selling it, like, oh my God. Um, and they ask if he's sure about it. Karen comes in, hands him his boots. They have like a little moment. It's like, oh, it's
Oh,
already tugging at the
getting
heartstrings.
serious. Yeah, it was worrying at this
Yeah.
point. I was just concerned. Yeah.
Then we had the Mariah May promo, very conceited. I saw this on Instagram last night, and then I saw it again today, and I'm just like, God, I just love this woman so much.
Yeah, it was
She's
brilliant.
just she's just I want to see Mariah May take on Ricochet. That'd be like my dream match.
Yes. Yeah.
Cause she can go, she can bring the heel, he can bring the scissors. Let's
Yeah.
fucking go.
No DQ, bloody death match.
Yeah.
Book it.
Exactly. So again, this is just top quality, as
Yeah.
always with her. And
Yeah, I
again, it was
really
one of those promos where there's lots of truth in it, wasn't there? Lots of truth, and
yes.
you're like, ooh,
That's exactly what I was about to say. I loved how the way she spins it is truthful. So she was like, I've been told not to say anything else bad about the women's division. So, and it's like, oh, that feels sort of real. Like maybe you could have actually been told that. And then she sort of listed off the fact that she was like in the top 10 active wrestlers in 2024 in AEW, and none of the other women were anywhere near, etc., etc. She's just setting herself apart from the rest of the women's division with these facts, and you're sort of like, huh, yeah, you're right. But yeah, it's the arrogance and the conceitedness, which yeah, it's just great heel, great heel.
We support women's wrongs as well as women's rights.
We do.
Yeah. Then we had Jeff Jarrett coming out, wrestling boots around his neck, tart in the ring. He gives a little shout out, Slappy New Year, loving it, loving the banter. Um, yeah, and he does a long promo. Again, we don't really know what to expect. I mean, my expectation was, as was announced, that it's like a last run
Yeah.
sort of thing, and that's kind of what we got. So he talked about gratitude and things coming to an end, talked about the Jarrett family legacy, his own achievements, starting TNA. Should the last outlaw just ride off into the sunset? Hell no. Because the whole time he's referring to risk and reward, and
Yeah.
he wants to take one last risk. He signed his last wrestling contract. He wants one more ride. And then the shocker was, like, again, this is all expected, but then he goes, I want AW Gold. I felt extremely inspired by the end of this, though. Like, it was like the Danielson thing when he did the motivational speech. And I was like, I want to go chase my dreams. So whenever I've got obviously a lot of goals I want to reach this year, so whenever I'm feeling down, I'm just gonna start watching Jeff Jarrett,
Yeah.
these motivational Jeff Jarrett promos. I think he should release a meditation book, daily Jeff Jarrett
Yeah.
affirmations. I would
Right.
read that shit. And the great thing about Jeff Jarrett and why I love him so much is obviously he's so great. He read out all of his accolades, but he went through so much struggle throughout his career, and he was very privileged. Was he or wasn't he? Being the son of a promoter, he kind of won. It kind of had a bit of a hard run with it, but all the struggle that he had and all the setbacks he had, and some of them were self-inflicted, the management of TNA, but like just how he's like handled himself and just the grace that man, like he just has such class about him when
Yeah, that is so
when he
true.
walks into a room. He's wrestling fucking royalty in my eyes. I just adore that man so much. So yeah, just feeling extremely inspired. But wow, what do you make of it? He's going for the gold.
I mean, well, I was shocked. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I didn't expect him to say that. I don't know, because I feel like there's a lot of people in this episode was trying to stake the claim for the championship, and there's a lot of people trying to climb the ladder to reach it.
But shouldn't they be doing that? It is the
Yeah,
world
absolutely.
championship.
Yeah, absolutely they should. But I'm just thinking, I don't know, does this necessarily equal something meaningful? Is he gonna get that championship match? Or is he just
I think
gonna
Yeah,
get into the
I think it's going to be
gauntlet?
super meaningful. This is his last run, and he's basically saying
Yeah.
to retire. I think that Tony Khan has a lot of respect and love for Jeff Jarrett in the way that he's handled him. I, I don't think he's going to win the gold. I
Yeah.
think we're going to have like some really emotional angst, passing the torch type shit, like
Yeah.
bring your fucking tissues.
Retirement
Oh my
match.
God. I'm not ready for. Yeah, it's going to be big. It's going to be impactful. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be a hell of a last ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he's going to win the gold. But I think it's really cool. Like, because yeah, why would you not? And it's just that. But then if he did win the gold, that would like really warm my heart. But I don't think he's going to. But
Yeah, I
it's
don't
just
think he's going to.
dreams, isn't it?
Yeah, but he deserves a retirement run and he deserves to go out on his own terms. And if that is with the championship or not, like maybe I don't know, maybe someone will cost him that championship opportunity and then they'll have a big blood food, blood feud with this person who he decides he wants to be the last person he ever wrestles. That would be lovely. And good for him, like he deserves it. Why not? I think if people are complaining about this, which I have seen on the internet,
Yeah, me
please just
too.
stop being miserable.
Yeah, someone was like, "Oh, I guess this is AEW's response to John Cena's retirement run." Like, John Cena's the only person that's allowed to retire. Like, what are you on
That
about?
makes no sense. That is such a weird, like, worldview to have, very WWE centric. It's like people retire. It's not, you don't need to compete. We're not having competing retirement angles.
Put some respect on Jeff Jarrett's name. I'm sorry, it makes me so mad. No one's allowed to disrespect. This is the Jeff Jarrett Appreciation Podcast.
Yeah,
Okay.
might as well just
He's
check.
on my Hear Me Out list. What a
Yeah,
gorgeous, classy,
that's a valid one.
musical.
Multi-talented.
He's also, he can market. He is multi. He's just wow. I don't even
Whole
have
package.
the wife,
The
the
beautiful
squad.
wife.
Just
Has he ever written a
wow.
book? Like an autobiography?
I haven't read it if he's
No,
released them.
I
I
feel
don't think
like
he has.
he needs to.
He has this podcast, which is really good. He talks about like a
I'll have
lot
to
of
listen to
things.
that. I've never listened,
Yeah, and he
but yeah,
reviews his career and everything that he's been through, and
that
it's
sounds
good.
amazing. I'm gonna give that a listen because
Yeah.
listening to him talk about his family and his life in this
Yeah.
really engaging to me, and I was like, oh, talk a bit more. I'm enjoying this. Like, keep going.
Yeah.
Tell me the details.
He's
I want to know.
because of the way he talks about it with like I said, just such grace and such humility. And you don't really get that a lot in the wrestling. Especially not many men reach the age that he reaches and has that level of humility because they're so into the gimmick or they're so into their character or they're so like up themselves with their own ego and all their accolades. But to me, just like he's just so grounded and I just love him.
We love you.
Sorry.
Yeah. Don't
Could go on
retire.
about that man forever. Yeah, don't retire. You still got it. Um Then we were shown the Patriarchy Hook feud through a video package. We had the Hook promo, him calling out Christian Cage after getting his revenge on Nick Wayne, and they will face a Maximum Carnage in 2 weeks. Again, why couldn't some of these have been like Hook be in the ring calling Christian out and they just exchange some words in the ring? Like, I understand it's New Year's Day, obviously holiday
Yeah,
period, people are busy, it's hard to get people. That's the only thing I can
maybe
think
that's
of.
why. Yeah.
But I just think to mix it up a bit, because we've already said, all the video packages, it was a lot.
Yeah, it was. It was. It was probably especially boring in the arena, and you're looking up at the screen again.
Paid all this money to just come watch them on a big screen. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Uh, and then we had Hobbs. He had a squash match, total domination. But yeah, positive, feeling positive about it. I think, the crowd was fully behind him in this match, showed that he's got a lot. He's got a lot of movement behind him. I just hope that they give him something to do.
Yeah, it
Another
was
person who
nice.
didn't have a lot to do, Daniel Garcia.
Oh my God, so true. So true. No, it was nice to see Hobbs on this, after World's End, and he was pretty hot on that.
Yeah.
It was great to see some follow up on that. So even though it was just a squash match with the two local enhancement talents, sometimes it's not a bad thing, is it? It does what it needs to do.
No. No, it's not a bad thing at all. And, I don't, again, like, I hope so that he goes into the Hurt Syndicate. There's still that gap open. He's been prestigious. He's a powerhouse.
Yep.
He'd fit right in there, like,
Yeah, that
perfectly. So,
agreed.
but I don't know what they're going to do with the whole Swerve thing, but it seems Swerve and Ricochet sort of pivoting off and doing their own thing now. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, but I bring up Daniel Garcia because a graphic came up that he's defending the TNT title against Matt Briscoe, and I'm like, I hope he gets a story early this year with the TNT title because there's now worse than when you win the belt and then there's no one to face, and that's why I predicted and said that Jack Perry should hold the belt for a little bit longer because it's just like, what has Daniel Garcia got to do now? I don't want him to be an afterthought.
Yeah, we don't want him to get lost in the shuffle. Yeah, hopefully. Sorry, I just got distracted then, and I lost my train of thought. So
That's fine.
I was looking at Daniel Garcia's Wikipedia page, and I had a point. I had a reason to be looking at it, and then I lost it. Sorry. Love you, Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, so just my point is for both of them, Hobbs and Garcia. Hope to see him do big things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, then we had Marvez interviewing Big Bill and Brian Keith. That's where Chris Jericho is. He's not fucking there. He's been on a bloody bender. You know he went on a bender at New Year's Eve. He just strikes me as type.
No,
Bet you're on his boat.
100%, and he's out all night partying.
Yeah.
Therefore,
Yeah, this it's not coming. And they insulted Asheville, the hometown heroes, even though like Cope is
Canadian.
Canadian, but he lives in Asheville, so which understand I want to go live in Asheville. Like, do you know what? What a beautiful, beautiful like North Carolina. What a beautiful part of the country.
I don't really know
Like,
anything about it.
wow. It's like all mountainous, the
Oh, right.
forests. It's so beautiful. Um, yeah. So I like the line. They need to be taken down a branch or two. Big Bill is proper popping off. Again, another person. Give my man Big Bill something to do.
Yeah. And also I thought Brian Keith was really funny in this as well. Um
Yeah.
he just went, I think this is what he said, "You're just a rated R dumbass." And Big Bill was corpsing and everyone was corpsing, but then Copeland sort of came in and like he didn't find it very funny. He didn't get the joke. He can't take a joke and he was like getting aggressive and stuff. But yeah, everyone corpsing, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, he was like,
You'd
you
love
have
to
a
see it.
dumb face.
Yeah, he went. Yeah, he was like trying to come up with insults, and then that's the best thing he could come up with. You have a dumb face. Okay, year three.
Put Big Bill in the Hurt Syndicate
Oh yeah,
as an
tall guy.
honorary member. If they ever want to do like a bit of a comedy act, throw Bill in there. And put Bill in every angle ever, please.
Every
I
faction.
need more. I need more. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So then on Collision, we're gonna have rated FTR versus the Learning Tree Stable, which yeah, that's all right by me.
Yeah, no
I mean,
problems.
it's Chris Jericho, but fair enough. Like, fair enough. Then we had the post match promo of MJF. Again, he's a bloody sweaty heap on the floor. He says to Adam Cole, "You didn't really win though, did you?" But he rehashes the match and then he goes, "Better than you, baby. Chapter is over." Which again, like I say, listening to the fans, thank God.
Yeah,
And he says he wants the Triple B back, and it was great to see him with the intensity because last week I had a lot of concerns of like
yeah,
this is really harming his character. I'm just so glad that we've cut that tie and like we're moving on. Um, yeah, because I think that harm has already set in and so much more harm could have been done. So it's just great to see that we're pivoting back. And I know, but it's like again, he's also vying for the Triple B. So how does he fit into all of this?
yeah. I felt like that was a very random switch up. And it feels like sort of felt like face MJF, which I'm all for, but very sort of sudden change. So I'm intrigued. Yeah, again, I just wonder, are all these people on this episode like doing this to get their place in the casino gauntlet and stuff? And then are they going to move
Yeah,
along? How is this going to pay off?
yeah, that's true. That's very true. Then we had the main event, um, and I really liked this line that I think it was Excalibur. He was talking about how Wheeler Yuta played into the finish at the match on World's End, and how I said on our World's End review, it makes sense. It was the lack of unification that meant that Cassidy, Hangman, and Jay White couldn't defeat
Yeah.
Moxley. But then Excalibur said you've got to think about the brainwashing of Wheeler Yuta and how maybe it's not necessarily unification, but it's like brainwashing and it's the power that he
Mm,
has over Wheeler Yuta. Maybe Yuta is the key to unlocking the downfall of Mox because like we said earlier, like how at the moment it just seems like how are these like the Death Riders are such an unstoppable force. Like you just can't picture him ending. We've had all the top stars being thrown at him and they're just swatting him away. So how do we get to that? But I just really liked that observation.
that's so true. And I think maybe that's hinting to one of my predictions for 2025 was
Ooh.
Wheeler like being the guy who helps someone defeat Mox, like when you least expect it, like him being the deciding factor.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love that high drama. Um, Yeah, Cash Wheeler got the hot tag, um, and I was very impressed by this match because just how hot the crowd stayed throughout all. And again, I
Yeah.
get that it's like hometown heroes and all that, so they're probably hot because of that. But the crowd was just with him every step of the way. And often with a six man or just any tag, like there's those down periods and those
Yeah.
slower periods, but the crowd was hot the whole way through.
That's so true. That is so
Like it
true.
was really cool. Um, yeah, we had the switch, the Blade Runner to Wheeler Yuta. Copeland was able to throw Mox onto the announce desk and then speared him through the barricade. It was just chaos. Um, then we had the shatter machine and the spear to Yuta to finish it off. So the conclusion of this match was just, I mean, the whole match was just chaos. Like
Yeah.
you had bloody Claudio coming in with his like forearms and uppercuts just out of nowhere. You had just the general fuckery of a six man, and but just that conclusion of it was just fucking, it was fucking epic. It was really, really cool. And it was like, okay, rated FTR, like you can kind of get it. Just
Yeah.
dudes being dudes, as Lucy says.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it really is. Um, yeah, I agree. I think Elsa Marina Shafir was getting involved and she
Yep.
pushed um Corp into the ring post to like change the momentum of the match at one point, and then they were fighting outside. And I love how Claudio is just like a human wrecking ball at the moment. He's just like throwing his weight around. When there was a near fall on Yuta, and Claudio just appeared out of nowhere just to basically body slam the person doing the cover to break it up. As well, when Cash went for a suicide dive and then he got uppercutted by Claudio, that was a really cool spot and really well sold, I thought. Um, and yeah, and then just the chaos of the ending, like you said, it was fast paced. It was yeah, there was a lot happening at once, and even the commentary team was struggling to keep up with what was happening. Um, and yeah, so yeah, Jay White coming out of nowhere to get his revenge on Wheeler Yuta. And yeah, I think I like how I know you could probably argue that Yuta looks quite weak, but I feel like that's sort of the point. So it's like being in this team, it's not doing him any favors. He's not winning. He's still getting beat up all the time, and he's taking losses. It's sort of like he's the um
Collateral.
yes, yes, that exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's not done him any favors. Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. I loved Jay White coming in to the finish. So yeah, I liked this episode. I liked how, other than the video packages, which were just like rehashing everything, it did feel like when the wrestling was on, things were moving forward and heating up, and a lot of big stars were present for this show as well, which I think always
Yeah,
makes a difference.
100%. Yeah, that's one thing I picked up on this as well, is that it was sort of like a main cast to kick off like 2025. It's like here are our main people. Here's our biggest stars.
Yeah. And there's
This
still people missing, but like you didn't feel it because it was
yeah,
still, like, Osprey was missing, Fletcher was missing. Um, got a cat thing. Like I guess it depends who you count as like a star. Like obviously Daniel Garcia, he's got a title, but
Harvey.
and Private Party, and you know what? Maybe they should have been on the show as well, but it's still you didn't necessarily feel it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly. Yeah, it was full of stars, and it kind of felt like showcasing the best, putting the best foot forward.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And it was the first episode simulcast on Max. So hope everyone's having fun with that. I know they're uploading the library very slowly, so that's
Yeah,
cool to see. Obviously, WWE on Netflix now, which is just, it's so weird, like being on Netflix and then you can just type in any pay per view and it's like 12 seasons, and you're like,
that is.
obviously got all the pay per views. You're like, what? I know that we had the network before and it's basically just the same thing, but it is just fucking mad.
Well, yeah, because it's like you're not paying a specific subscription to be a wrestling nerd. It's just part of you average viewing. You go watch, I don't know, The Office. You go binge watch your favorite Netflix series, and you can just go watch some 2003 pay-per-view if you want straight after on the same platform. That is very different.
Now it's gonna be though, like being a kid and it being on Sky.
I know, and like finding it on obscure channels at like 1
Yeah,
a.m.
that was pure nostalgia. But yeah, so if anyone, how is it on Max? Do people enjoy? Did people get Max just for AEW? Because I feel like Max is more like a niche thing. Obviously, it's like an American streaming service. I don't know anyone in the UK. I don't even know if you can even get it in the UK.
I don't think so.
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So the show itself, though, as for rating it, I felt like by the end of it, an 8 is where I'm at.
an 8. Yeah, I think at the start when I said it, it felt really mixed. I think we talked about the amount of video packages, there's it was very story driven, which to an extent, which is good, and like it's like starting new things as well, and like thinking about MJF specifically here, ending one thing, moving on to another. Jeff Jarrett, where we're going with that, creating a lot of intrigue. Um, I wasn't, I'm never keen on really seeing the acclaimed, but that for what it was as good as it could be.
Yeah, the
Um,
match was good.
so yeah, I can go with an 8. I can roll with 8.
Yeah, it was by the end of it, it was a largely positive experience. And while there were things that were a bit like, there wasn't anything that like I hated, but I still just feel comfortable with like an 8.5 just seems like a bit high.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, but yeah, hopefully they continue to put their best foot forward. I think both companies will because with being on these big networks, they want
Yeah,
to
100%.
impress them and make it look like it was a worthy investment, keep that
Yeah.
stock high. So I think both of them are going to be started. Also, I did just want to comment on, I think maybe it was this week's Raw, the exchange between Seth Rollins and CM Punk, because that did make its way to me. Woo, that was tense.
It
That
was,
was
wasn't it?
tense.
I enjoyed that. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And
Handcuff.
again, it's like, how the hell does WWE capitalize on things that have happened in AEW better than AEW was able to? Like, that's just mad to me, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
that
that's a
that they've been able to do that, and yeah.
that's a very good question. That is, yeah, good point. Um, I know that people got really mad over it as well, but
Did they?
yeah, people are like, well, they're still talking about AEW. They can't stop talking about AEW, and it's like,
Well, it's a part of the law, a
yeah, it's
part
just
of them.
getting heat,
So
baby. Um,
yeah,
are you going to be watching Wrestle Dynasty, which is
I
3
absolutely will
days?
be. I absolutely will be. Obviously, Kenny's come back, but all the other matches on there, I'm really looking forward to the Shota Umino one. Um, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the whole card. It looks fucking banging, so can't wait.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about it. We haven't really made a full sort of scheduling plan, but I'm sure we'll
I
cover
don't think we'll
to an
review it, but
extent.
I think like we'll probably talk about it. Our next episode is actually our 50th
Oh
episode.
my God.
So we do actually have a special plan for that, don't we? Like an episode we want to do that won't be a review.
Yes, exactly, yeah. Because that's a big milestone. How exciting.
Yeah.
And it's
So
quite
that'll be a
good.
really fun video. So like watch out for our next video because I think you'll like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, keep your eyes peeled and make sure you don't miss it. So be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything if you haven't already, or follow us if you're listening on Spotify. And also, as always, please leave us a 5-star rating if you're listening on Spotify, or a like, whatever, or anything that you can is really, really appreciated. And yeah, as always, thanks for listening. And yeah, I think that's it. I think we covered
Happy
everything.
New Year.
Happy New Year. Have a banging 2025, and we'll see you very, very soon.
I must bid you adieu, goodbye.